The White Snoop and T-Rose Show, starring the White Snoop and T-Rose.
Tweet us during the show using the hashtag #SnoopRose Show.
The White Snoop and T-Rose Show.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's the White Snoop and T-Rose Show. Of course, I'm the White Snoop. It's T-Rose over here. After a very compelling first round, probably the best first round we've ever seen in the NBA, we have a lot to cover. I guess we'll start in the Eastern Conference with your favorite team, those Pacers. Your boy Roy Hibbert. It was very interesting to see. Well, they finally went with not playing him and how well it worked going small against Atlanta, because Atlanta just seemed like they were just shooting threes, hoping for the best. They pushed the limit. One of the 5 games that went 7, or one of the 5 series, that went 7 games. Atlanta was impressive. The whole time I was watching, all I kept thinking was, wow, imagine if Al Horford was here.
Yeah, and him being out definitely made a difference. You could even argue they should have won the series. In Game 6, they had a 10-point lead, and they kind of blew it. But this is the Atlanta Hawks we're talking about, and their best player was out. So, but Jeff Teague had some spots. He definitely took advantage of his matchup. Yeah. And
well, actually, you reminded me. I wanted to say I want to apologize to Jeff Teague. I never thought Jeff Teague would be able to do what he did in this series. He was very, very impressive. A little bit more sold on Jeff Teague. Not quite sold on the contract yet. But I will say, because it's similar to the George Hill contract, I would certainly take Jeff Teague over George Hill.
Yeah, well, Teague, he's more of a dynamic guard, kind of like a poor guy's like Westbrook. Not quite athletic, but he can be a wild card too. Because
he's still stuck in the fact that he couldn't start over Mike Bibby.
Wow.
I think that's why I didn't think that much of him.
Yeah, but wasn't that when Mike Bibby was actually a decent player?
Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy that just fell out of the league just to drop Mike Bibby.
Probably haven't heard that name in a while.
He went from Mike Bibby he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
He just.
Yeah.
He played with the Heat that one year. He looked like he couldn't even get up and down the court anymore.
I forgot that he even did that.
Remember that? Well, it's easy to forget.
If
you're a Mike Bibby fan, you want to forget too. He couldn't even get up and down the court. It's like, man, is that him out there, or is that like the ghost of Mike Bibby? Yeah. But anyway. So.
The Hawks put up a great fight. Kyle Korver played really well. Of course, Paul Millsap, which we kind of expected from Paul Millsap. Pero Antic was one of the problems for them because Roy Hibbert couldn't guard him on the perimeter, and then Mike Scott went off. And we saw that coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Hawks they gotta stay healthy. I do think eventually they're gonna need a 2-guard that can score. Because as much as I like Jeff Teague, you don't want him taking all the shots. Yeah.
They definitely still have more building to do.
Yeah.
They would have been better if Al Horford didn't get hurt, but they still have more to go. We also had the only sweep of the first round was the Heat taking out the Bobcats. Yeah. Unfortunately for the Bobcats, Al Jefferson got hurt, right away, and he
still put up decent numbers, hurt too.
Yeah,
but
I don't think it would have been a sweep if Al Jefferson didn't get hurt.
No,
because they were in every game.
Yeah, they were in. The last one kind of turned into a blowout at the end, but you look at the Bobcats, man. They got a nice little nucleus there. Your boy Kemba, who you also weren't sold on, had a pretty good series. You should apologize to him too. Al Jefferson was good. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist he's figuring it out. So
good news for Charlotte. The Bobcats are now done.
Yeah.
Starting next year, we have the Charlotte Hornets again.
Yeah. I'll have to get a Bobcat jersey then.
We'll throw it back.
There's some sweet unis though. The colors, just saying.
I'm not wearing bad.
But Yeah, I
The
mean,
only downside to them is that they're Bobcats jerseys.
Yeah, well, they were decent this year. You can let it slide. You know, the kid Jalen Henderson was a decent player too, but I think they need to upgrade it to two. Definitely an upgrade to two guard, and they got a good coach. So yeah, they're gonna be all right.
A nice little future ahead of
They're
them.
gonna be all right, long as
I just want to also mention I've seen a couple of Al Jefferson interviews recently, and I mentioned the first one to you. I just saw a second. Al Jefferson attributed his offensive prowess back to his days with Kevin McHale in Minnesota. Remember, he was traded from Boston, and
seems like a long time ago.
yeah. And if you remember, we were talking about it because we were talking about your boy Dwight Howard.
Oh, don't even get me wrong.
Because it's funny.
Wait till we get to that part of the show.
Because it's funny because Dwight Howard has been working with Kevin McHale and haven't picked up what... I mean, Al Jefferson is amazing offensively. So, why isn't Dwight Howard... Although it's funny because...
And he's not like half the athlete that Dwight is either. Like, you watch Al Jefferson play. He does he even does he jump? Does he even jump? Like, I'm not trying to hate. Like, you watch him play. Like, it doesn't look like he's jumping half the time.
The other funny part is how this goes full circle because now, Dwight is playing, for Kevin McHale. And Al Jefferson used to play for Kevin McHale. Now, Al Jefferson has an assistant coach on the bench that Dwight Howard used to have on his bench back in Orlando.
Patrick Ewing.
Absolutely. And he said that Patrick Ewing challenged him at the beginning of the year to focus on defense because that's where Steve Clifford was trying to take the team. And obviously we saw how that worked because he anchored the sixth best defense in the NBA. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So moving on. We'll get back to more Dwight Howard talk. Moving on, we had the 3-6 matchup. Toronto Brooklyn, which was a great series to watch. It was.
I actually thought your Raptors were going to pull it out. I thought they were going to.
I think everybody did. I've talked to Nets fans that thought the Raptors were going to win when they started coming back in the fourth quarter of Game 7. I mean, all those games were phenomenal. I mean, there was no lead was safe. I mean, there was the game where Toronto was up by 28. It came, Brooklyn came back
going into the fourth.
Yeah. Then there was the next game.
It was the opposite.
Yeah.
So
then there was so many games where one team would be up by 15 or 20, and then all of a sudden it was gone. Definitely a great series to watch. I'm sure they're going to be playing that on the NBA TV when they show all the playoff rewinds. They'll be showing some of those. I mean, Toronto is all about the future. I mean, I think they show the world how good they are because a lot of people doubted them. A lot of people doubted them before the season started. They didn't think they would be as good as they are. People still had their doubts going into the playoffs. And I think for smart NBA watchers, I think they're figuring out that this Toronto team's for real. Kyle Lowry, of course, is their big decision. They just extended Dwayne Casey 3 years. So Kyle Lowry is going to be the big free agent. According to Masai Ujiri, they're planning to pay him to keep him in Toronto. So we'll see how that goes. They have a couple other decisions. They have team options on Amir Johnson and John Salmons, both for $7 million. So I think it might be safe to say that John Salmons won't be back.
I didn't even know he was still playing.
Yeah, he was important for. No, he really was. Him and Landry Fields were their best defenders on Joe Johnson.
John Salmons. Wow.
He's a solid player, just not $7 million worth, I don't think.
Where did he get that? Did he get that contract in Milwaukee?
I think so.
Yeah, well, that explains why they're where they are right now.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But Amir Johnson, I can see him getting the $7 million with his, how he plays.
Yeah, just make sure the refs let him touch the ball after the free throws.
Yeah. They have some interesting moves going forward. They have, restricted, they have to get the qualifying offers to become restricted free agents, both Graves Vasquez and Patrick Patterson. So we'll see where those go. And any other type of moves. I mean, this isn't a finished product, but if Kyle Lowry stays, they'll probably keep, Amir Johnson. They got a nice solid core with Jonas Valanciunas, the growth of DeMar DeRozan. Hopefully, Terrence Ross will, begin to develop more as he gets old. He's still young as well. Nice, solid young core. On a fun note, and I hope I don't start any rumors with this, I just thought it was funny because I was talking to somebody and I was telling them it's funny. It's Toronto, like with the team they had, it was like they were just missing like a guy, like the guy. You know what I mean? And I kept using the example. I'm not saying that he would go there, but I kept using LeBron James as an example. It's like you add LeBron James to the Toronto roster as is. I was like, you have a title contender. then I started thinking, Kevin Durant did say he would love to play for the Toronto Raptors. So I just want to throw that idea out there. So, KD, we got the team for you, dog. But the Nets, their experience obviously shined through. By the way, did you know that Kevin Garnett, he was sitting on the Phil Jackson chair?
Yeah, I did see that. It's sad to see.
The only game he played more than 20 minutes, I think, was Game 6. I don't think he broke it in Game 7, did he?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Paying attention
It's sad to see.
Yeah.
But,
hopefully they can stay healthy going forward. Darren Williams hurt his ankle in Game 6, but he continued to play, so... and that's the only other thing. I mean, everybody else seemed like, they're ready to go for the next round.
Yeah.
And then the final series,
Wizards
and Bulls.
I was thinking when we had our last show, I should have went with my heart and said the Wizards, but I don't know.
It was just tough to pick against the Bulls.
I know. Well, no. For me, it was tough to pick against Thibodeau and Noah.
Yeah.
But then
I'm just saying, like,
but then when I was watching the games, I realized that unfortunately Thibodeau can't score, and you're really not going to get anything more than out of Noah than 12, 14 points a game. But I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised at all.
Well, I'm not saying I'm shocked.
I mean,
I'm more shocked that it only went 5 games.
I'm not. After watching the first couple games, it didn't surprise me at all. They had no answer for Nene. He did whatever he wanted, and then
which is sad because he was being defended by the defensive player of the year.
Well, good. People forget how good Nene is because he missed like half the season.
I'm aware of that.
I was talking to somebody a couple days ago. I said, he goes, well, where's he been all season? I said, hurt. I said, he's healthy now. He's balling. He's healthy.
You got Wall and Beal.
Well, the other thing is people forget, and I said it. I don't know when Trevor Ariza will learn how to shoot the 3, but they spread. You look at the Wizards. They have probably one of the more dynamic offenses in the NBA. They can score down low. They can throw it to Nene.
I love Gortat too.
You have Gortat. He's kind of like a he's a scrappy guy. But he rebounds. He defends.
He's got hands around.
He can finish. And then you have Beal on the perimeter, Trevor Ariza on the perimeter, and then you have John Wall, who he seems to be making the right decisions. He'll drive and kick.
He's grown a lot in a year and a half, the past year and a half.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. A lot of people. It's actually funny because a lot of people were like
2 years ago.
Yeah, were like ready to. Including me. I guess I should apologize to John Wall, but he seems to make the most of the right plays. He drives and kicks to one of the shooters, or he dishes it off during the night for that little 12-foot jumper, and so they kind of have an offense that can beat you in a variety of ways. So
they're young too,
and they're very young.
Like we were just talking about Toronto.
Bradley Beal's 20.
How many people have said recently that John Wall and Bradley Beal are going to be the best backcourt in the next 2 years?
I don't know.
They're so young, and they're only going to get better, which is incredible.
And I know a lot of people, like someone told me, I was talking to somebody, they made the comparison to the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson deal. Well, I said, well, no, because I think Bradley Beal's going to be better than Klay Thompson.
I agree. I agree with that.
Bradley Beal will be a star.
John Wall and Steph Curry are just different.
Well, I don't really. Well, yeah,
John Wall's more the distributor.
Yeah, but John Wall can go. He can fill it up when he needs to.
He doesn't have the shooting prowess of Stephen Curry.
No, yeah, well,
he's more of a distributor than Stephen Curry.
Well, I don't think he'll ever have the shooting prowess, but when he gets
Stephen Curry came out the way shooting.
Look who his old man is. That's all his old man can do is shoot.
What are they saying inside the NBA? I bet his mom can shoot too.
Yeah. So, but I just think that John Wall, because obviously John Wall, he's more athletic and way more dynamic than Steph Curry is. And I love Steph Curry. And he can score. And when Bradley Beal gets comfortable creating a shot for himself, and he can knock down an open shot, that's going to be, that's probably going to be like, we're talking like 10 years down the line, that being, that's obviously they stay in Washington, but that can be like a dominant backcourt for like 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
scary.
It is scary.
Gortat's not that old either. And then they're not young, but
yeah, no, definitely. Trevor Ariza has been around for a little while, but
they're veterans. You need that to win.
No, definitely. And
if they get some nice youth to come off their bench now,
And I mean, they drafted Otto Porter a year ago. I mean, when they drafted him, they said he wasn't. I mean, he was going to be a project. So, like within the next couple of years, that's fine. That's perfect for them at this point. So,
and I think because they're talking about how deep this draft is going to be with maybe not superstars, but
role players,
with great role players. I mean, they're going to draft at what I forget exactly. They're the 18, 17 pick. I mean, it's the late teens.
They'll get
another
guy that can play.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, I mean. No, they're not going to get another star. I think they have enough star power with Wall. I think Beal getting better. They got Nene, Gortat. I mean, those four. I mean, they're looking for role players to put around these guys. And then at the 17, 18, wherever exactly they are,
maybe add another shooter.
Yeah, just another guy that can play.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
now they have their mid level. They can use. I forget exactly where they are in the cap, but. They can at least use a mid-level.
And that's another team that
two more role players to that team. Think of how dangerous they're going to be.
And that's another team that no one was talking about at the beginning of the year.
I was.
Well, no, we were, but a lot of people thought that the Cavs were going to be better because of Kyrie Irving.
I did not.
Well, I didn't think so either. But you know as well as I do, a lot of people, and for some god unknown reason, went in.
I thought the Cavs would be better than they are, though. I will admit to that.
Yeah, but you remember I said I couldn't pick the Cavs just based on the fact that they were relying on Andrew Bynum.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel comfortable.
I also wasn't comfortable with Kyrie Irving's health history.
Yeah, but he stayed healthy the year for the most part. He wasn't, but
eventually maybe he'll prove me wrong, like Stephen Curry finally did.
He's got a lot of. Kyrie Irving.
Curry's ankles too.
Irving's got a lot of weight on his
Curry's
shoulders
been really good
there.
staying healthy the last 2 years.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Chicago just didn't have an answer. For the Wizards, and they couldn't score. I think Barkley said it. It's like, well, the Bulls, they want to hold you to 80 points a game. Well, you're not going to be able to, maybe you could do that in certain games in the regular season, but you're not going to be able to do that for an entire playoff series. Yeah. And you kind of.
And I knew the Wizards were going to give them problems. But I did went with the Bulls.
I did too, but
it was a good series.
No, it was. Like I said, I wasn't shocked in how it went. I can definitely say that. Now
it's funny because we're talking about just so far we've only talked about the Eastern Conference. This is only 23 games that were played. And there were 23. Out of those 23 games, I mean they were all pretty watchable games. I mean you didn't really get that many bad games. Of course over in the West, so we got to talk about the Western Conference too. I mean. Those were just 4 incredible series.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Yeah, we'll start at the top. I mean, the 1-8 matchup, Spurs Mavs. I mean, the Mavs came right out the gate. I mean, Vince Carter, it was actually funny. Vince Carter, because he looked like young again. It was great to watch. And when he hit that game winner, in the corner, and they asked him about 2001 because I'm sure you remember, Toronto, Philly, in Game 7, he had in the second round, he had that game-winning shot that rimmed out. And he said he thought about it every day. And he always practiced that shot, for the time that he had the opportunity to do it again. And so it's kind of nice to see, super, well, he's not really a superstar anymore, but, a player of that caliber to get the little retribution for his history. But yeah, the series overall was awesome. I mean, probably the best coaching matchup in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Rick Carlisle versus Popovich.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a good series. I mean, you and I talked. I mean, Dirk never got in a rhythm, and there were a couple games where they kept it close, and a couple years ago Dirk would have just closed it. Lights out, game over. Dirk. He just never got it rolling. Missed a lot of open shots that he usually doesn't make. That whole make in his sweep. And I mean, was it Game 5? One was Game 5, and was it Game 2?
You talking about where he just missed a lot of open?
Yeah, and it was close. I mean, like I said,
the funny thing is,
and if this is like I said, if this is a couple years ago, it's like lights out, and it's just
on the last episode, we talked about the first round before it happened. We called Spurs in 6. They went 7. But the reason why we gave him 6 is because we thought Dirk would go nuts.
Yeah, and he didn't really do it
and he never went nuts.
In any game.
I mean, Carter went nuts. Sean Marion played well for them all series. Monte Ellis looked awesome. Jose Calderon stepped up a couple nights.
I mean, there was
Juan Blair was even helpful for them. I know he's just, he only did a little bit, but he came off the bench, but he was a part of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's the one game they were down by 12, and the role players brought him back, and then and what was it, tie game? Dirk missed a corner three. He missed like a couple of those little running jumpers that he usually makes, and I mean, it was weird to see. I mean, I'm not.
Man, if Nowitzki was on, they would have won the series.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they would definitely win up 3-2 in Game 5, and then you never know what happens then.
Rick Carlisle did an awesome job coaching this. He does not get enough credit. I mean, we talk about it, but
no, I mean,
he gets some credit, but I don't think he gets enough.
Yeah,
he's an awesome coach.
He's definitely a good coach. But
and we got some classic Popovich moments. My favorite was the game where Vince Carter was just going crazy.
Oh yeah.
And they interviewed him. I think it was at the third quarter, and he's like, I think I'm going to take a picture of Vince Carter and pass around the bench so they know who he is. And then he brought it up in the post game too. He was like, whenever you guys do that thing, Pop, gotta love him. I mean, yeah, that was definitely a great series. Then we had classic Thunder in Memphis.
Yeah, this was a this is an interesting this is an interesting series. It was very. I mean, it was different.
They did I know Durant got his numbers because he does, but they did an awesome job defensively on him.
Yeah, well,
regardless of the fact that he was dropping almost 30 on him every night.
He doesn't. And thinking about Durant, he doesn't like Tony Allen's one of those guys. He's a pain in your rear end, and Kevin Durant doesn't like that. And unfortunately, he's got to kind of like get over that. I mean, 'cause that's what Tony Allen does. I mean, to me, it was. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but when you're 6'9", I mean, how tall is Tony Allen? 6'4", 6'5"? He's not that tall.
Something like that.
Yeah,
but 6'5", I think was right.
He should not be able to keep Kevin Durant from getting. I mean, he was.
But he's got the
well, that's what I mean. I mean, Kevin Durant couldn't even get the ball, and then everybody's freaking out because Westbrook's shooting. It's like, well, what is he supposed to do? I mean, I mean, I mean, I don't know, but it was definitely it was interesting. And then Zach Randolph, I don't know what the hell you were thinking about. I mean,
that one moment could have costed the.
Yeah, you punch a guy in the face and get suspended for Game 7.
I mean, we can't predict what would have happened in Game 7, but I think everybody's pretty certain that the Memphis would have put up a better fight in Game 7 had they had Zach Randolph there.
Yeah, so I don't know what he was thinking about. I mean,
and then Mike Conley was hurt too.
Yeah, he should be apologizing to a lot of people right now because that was just I don't know what he was thinking.
Mike Conley, man, that another one of the underrated players in the NBA.
Yeah.
He played really well for them this series.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely tough series for the Thunder, man.
And unfortunately they have another tough one. We'll touch on that later. They have a tough one coming up.
We're about to talk about that.
Yeah. So and then we move on to
the Clippers
Houston.
Warriors.
Oh, you don't want
Clippers Warriors 3-6.
Okay, we'll do Clippers Warriors first. Yeah. I was actually surprised that this went 7 games. I did not think that this was going to go 7 games.
I think it only went 7 games because of the sideshow, which we'll discuss later in the show after we're done talking about the playoffs.
But
I mean, it caused a distraction. I think the Clippers would have won in 6 if it wasn't for that. The Warriors, it was kind of like the same thing as like Curry and Klay Thompson didn't really blow you away in any of those games. Like, which is kind of why I thought they would win too in the first place. Kind of the same thing with Dirk, in Dallas. But I mean, they played well. I mean, it weren't like they fell off or anything. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, I mean they fought hard. I mean, they fought and they all played hard, and they just.
Andrew Bogut would have helped a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially defensively.
I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, he would have helped a lot. I mean, what was it? Was it Game 1 when they won? Jermaine O'Neal played like 20-something minutes, and it was
then he kept playing when he got hurt.
Yeah, and it's like what?
Something we haven't seen from Jermaine for a while.
Yeah, it's like no offense, but if you think if you're not gonna get 30 minutes out of Jermaine O'Neal every night.
Probably the most emotional series of the first round because of all the other aspects.
We'll talk about
those later. But
so now we move on to.
I will say, Chris Paul was phenomenal in this series. For what he did.
Yeah, you know, he looks banged up to me out there, you know, and
Well,
you know
he
he's
is.
no, I know, but you could tell.
But he still played very well.
But you could tell it's in the games where he just doesn't look the same, and you just hope that they can at least keep him together throughout. I mean, because I think if they can hold him as one.
I think the best player that didn't show up in the stat sheet for the Clippers was definitely DeAndre Jordan. He definitely helped them on the defensive end. He's definitely showing some development, you know, on that end of the floor. And he played pretty well for them. I mean, he didn't score you a ton of points. He didn't get his rebound numbers were good. His block numbers were good, but you know, he doesn't. You know, he's not a scorer. You know, all he really does is catch some alley-oop dunks every now and then to put himself on ESPN. But he was definitely helpful for them. Yeah, after they lost Game 4 and they went out in Game 5. DeAndre Jordan looked incredible, which we don't say a lot. So then of course there's the Blazers-Rockets matchup. Man, I knew LA was going to give him some troubles, but damn. Remember I said that. That's why I went with the Blazers. I didn't think they would have an answer for him.
Yeah.
But started off with 2 back-to-back 40-point games,
plus.
And then he just kept going.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean definitely, and you know, I don't know what Kevin McHale was thinking those first couple games, just letting Terrence Jones guard him one-on-one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he was thinking.
Well, we know what he's thinking now.
Yeah.
I hope I have my cable up to date so I can watch the rest of the playoffs. He ain't playing in them.
Yeah. No.
They're coaching again.
We kind of saw. We saw how what was James Harden like? What did he go like 8 for 28 in Game 1? You know, he missed a lot of shots.
I'm not even mad at what he missed his shots, but what he missed his defensive assignments.
Well, I was gonna get that too. he doesn't even try on defense. Doesn't even try. I mean,
there was times where it was like, are you a spectator or are you playing?
Yeah.
Like his defense was terrible.
Yeah. Which is kind of no secret. He's never really been a. But
well, the other thing, speaking of the Rockets' defense, was Damian Lillard.
Yeah, they
said they would have trouble with him too.
Yeah, nothing.
And that game winner that he hit.
Yeah, forget
to
it.
close it.
Yeah,
that was an incredible shot. Damian Lillard. It's funny if you look at his regular stats and you compare him to they call them the clutch stats, or the final 5 minutes of the game in overtimes. It's funny to see the disparity. Like I forget the exact numbers off the top of my head, but his 3-point percentage in regular games is 35%. He makes 2. I think he shoots 2 for 6 on average. And then, but in clutch, I think he makes something like 70% of his threes.
Yeah,
it's all of a sudden the game's on the line and you can't stop him.
Yeah,
he's an incredible player.
Yeah, they no answer for him. They got good stuff out of Wes Matthews. Batum was great defensively against Harden, and Mo Williams is always on the bench. I like
Wes Matthews this series.
Mo Williams off the bench was huge too. But there are just.
I think the one thing that helped the Blazers in this situation, because we talked about they don't have a bench, neither do the Rockets.
Yeah.
Neither team had a great bench. Although I will say that what's his name from Houston that nobody knew, and I still can't remember his name.
The D-leaguer guy. I forget his name too.
Troy Daniels.
Yes, that guy.
Oh my God. That boy came out shooting.
Well, I mean,
apparently they call him a specialist. Apparently that's what he does.
Yeah,
he shoots threes.
He
hit those clutch free throws too, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's really, guys like that, it's kind of like Gary Neal a couple years ago at the Spurs. I mean, they got him from the D-League. He was, he could shoot the ball. I mean, it kind of translates. It's just kind of like everything else. I mean, what else you do is going to depend on how much playing time you're going to get or not. I mean, but yeah, so good for him, and
he definitely got some playing time after that.
Yeah,
after Game 3 when he went off.
Yeah, well, because no one else in Houston was making a shot. And then
that's true.
I don't even know if I want to. I don't even know if I want to, lose it with Dwight right now.
Well, the funny thing is, and I wanted to say this too, is I think Dwight Howard's going to catch more flack than he deserves.
Well, of course. Well, he's always going to catch more flack because he's Dwight Howard.
Well, yeah.
But they're just.
But he played well in the series. Like he stepped up defensively. He was trying on offense. I mean, he doesn't have any good offensive moves, but he was scoring.
I'm gonna yell at Kevin McHale as much as I'm gonna yell at Dwight. I mean, I forget what game it was. Game 5? What game was it? Where like Harden was destroying them with pick and roll, destroying them. Then it's like timeout, and then like the next like 8 possessions, they go into the post to Dwight, and I don't think he made a shot. And then on the flip side, Portland's going down and scoring. They're guarding this guy 1-on-1, so that obviously means that they don't even like fear him with the ball in the post. Like LaMarcus Aldridge was guarding him 1-on-1. I don't know, like so that's just they don't even fear this guy, and they kept going to him. I mean, you were watching the game with me. I almost lost my mind.
I mean, it was working at some points. Obviously, not at that point. But Dwight's just not. He's not an offensive threat.
Yeah.
He hasn't been since he got in the NBA.
No,
people only double team him because he's big. They don't realize like now that people are starting to realize like he's not an offensive threat. The double teams have slowed down.
And that's why I was just like beside myself watching it. And Portland comes back and they end up winning the game. And it's just I don't understand why they kept and then even in overtime they kept going to him.
It was working sometimes.
Not in that game.
I'm just saying.
Not in that game.
It did work sometimes.
Not in that game.
I wouldn't kill. I mean, I wouldn't kill Dwight that much.
No, it was just like McHale. Like, but what are you doing on the
Dwight Howard was probably their best consistent player in that series.
And, but the thing is but the worst thing is I don't know if they think when we throw the ball into Dwight, they'll double and it'll like make so much. No, because they're not doubling him. And everybody else is just standing around. And he takes that horrible hook shot that he misses 9 out of 10 times. It's just, I don't know. I didn't understand. I didn't know. But I guess, I mean,
that's what their offense is. And they don't
their offense is not very good. But.
I mean, their offense is either, hey, Dwight, get us something down low, or, hey, James Harden, either take a crazy fadeaway shot or get into the paint. I mean, that's pretty much what their offense is.
Yeah, that Houston team is very broken. But
that's part of why I don't think Dwight should get that much, because Dwight played well in this series. His job is defense. I mean, that's his number one priority, and he played well defensively. He did help them on the offensive end. I mean, yeah, he missed some shots, but I mean, I'm sure his shot percentage was not worse than most, if not all, the rest of the players.
No.
And then it's like he did so much for them, and it's like. He's going to catch the flack because they went out in the first round last year without him. And it's like, how does he make the team better? And it's like, well, how does the team help? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
before you kill Dwight, I mean, how about you put a better team around him? And then come talk to me.
Well, Daryl Morey's got his work cut out for him, so we'll see what happens. But
I mean, I want to see a better team get put around these guys before you start killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, even with James Harden, as bad as he played, it's like...
Alright, so...
how much help does he really have? I mean, they have to do so much, those two.
Yeah. Alright, so moving on. Next round.
Yeah. Of course, we're filming this on Tuesday, so we got to see 2 of the first games. Unfortunately, due to the timing of editing and stuff, so it'll probably get posted after the second, the last 2 game 1s. So, I mean, you people at home probably already saw all 4 by the time you see this. We only got to see the first 2. We talked about last night. The Clippers came out fired. I mean, it was funny. Doc, did you hear Doc? He said he thought that he had an option to pick either legs or brains, and it was either rest or get them prepared. And he said he just felt like they really needed the rest, and I guess he chose right because man, they were ready to play. Chris Paul was fucking amazing. I text you after the first half that Russell Westbrook needed to watch that.
He made 8 threes? Yeah.
Man, it was this entire game.
So
we talked about how good he was in the first round.
So who's winning the series?
I still got the Thunder winning.
See, I'm really worried about the Thunder. See, I'm really worried because I just think
MVP.
What's that?
The MVP.
That's fine. I mean, LeBron won the MVP in Cleveland. Didn't do nothing. So just saying.
He also won it in Miami. He did something.
Yeah. No, listen. I'm very worried about the Thunder because last night really showed they don't, especially when those Clippers like Chris Paul.
But Chris Paul's not gonna make 8 threes.
No, but like.
I mean, I like Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, Jamal Crawford. You get what you get from Blake. I mean, what did Blake do anything last night? I mean,
without looking at the stats.
I mean,
I'm sure he did some cool dunks.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I don't know. The Thunder's offense looked very flawed last night to me.
What does have its flaws?
And they need to.
We talk about their biggest offensive flaw is the fact that they have nobody on that roster that they can say, post it down low, we'll get you the ball, get me an easy bucket.
And they also don't defend the perimeter well. That's why Chris Paul was able to make 8 threes. They probably have some of those. They are probably one. I think someone said it today. They're like one of the worst perimeter defending teams in the league. They don't guard it well. So.
Which is kind of weird because they do have good defensive players.
Yeah, but they just don't guard the 3-point line well.
You have Russell.
I don't know why.
You have KD, who are all good defenders.
So, just they better pray. They better pray that like JJ Redick doesn't get it going in one game, because
the thing is though, and this is why I still have the Thunder, is although their offense might be flawed, but the Clippers aren't exactly a great defensive team either. I mean, they improved from last year. But they improved from bad to okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Blake's not guarding anybody. Yeah, but that he has to.
But the Thunder's offense isn't any better than okay either. Their defense isn't any better than okay.
Oh, OKC's defense is definitely better.
I don't think so.
OKC is one of the better defensive teams.
Well,
they have one of the higher ratings.
That's fine, but
Clippers is rated as more like a little above mediocre. Their defense is no better than Toronto. OKC has one of the better defenses. Their defense is definitely better, and they all buy into it, especially with Perk and Davo out there, because they always say they're better defensive with those two on the floor. I mean, but
and the other thing you
look at theirs, and DeAndre Jordan. I mean, he's supposed to be their anchor.
Yeah,
and he's not going to kill you defensively.
Well, he doesn't have to guard anyone this series.
Well, not with Perks on the floor, But he does have to be the back line of defense, and they have Blake. I mean, and they're going to be pulling Blake away because Serge Ibaka just shoots jump shots.
Who I think is going to do nothing because he's going to be in foul trouble the whole series because you tap Blake and he falls and they blow the whistle. I had to turn. I had to turn the game off last night. I was so
but
mad.
It's like, but then you have then you move out there. You talk about the Thunder perimeter defense. Who the hell is JJ Redick and Jared Dudley guarding?
Well, Jared Dudley's like a mystery because he used to be a pretty solid defender, and I don't know. He went to the Clippers, and everything just went away.
I mean,
so I don't know. He's like a.
I mean, they have Hito Turkoglu. Who's he guarding?
He shouldn't even. Anyway.
I'm just saying he's on the team.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, I mean, the only good defender.
Is Danny Granger gonna play for the Clippers? What's going on?
He'd probably be their best perimeter defender.
But what's going on with that? Like,
I don't know.
But
I just look at the Thunder, and I think KD's going to tear them up offensively in a couple of these games. I'm sure Westbrook's going to struggle.
The thing is those two guys can tear them up, and they can still lose. That's the scary thing about.
Yeah, but KD's better at getting the rest of the team involved. So I think Westbrook's going to have a harder time than KD because he has Chris Paul on him. Unless Chris Paul seems like he's hurting. If Chris Paul actually gets hurt even worse somewhere in this series, that can definitely give an edge to Westbrook, which definitely helps the Thunder. And then they have Cron Butler has been good for them since they got him because they signed him and actually used him.
I don't understand that. I was like, the Clippers got Danny Granger, all right, and it's like he hasn't even played. He hasn't played. I don't understand that.
They should play him.
Was that like a?
Because obviously, by watching Indiana, you could see how good he is.
I'd love to, I know. I'd love to know like what the thought process was, like him going there. Because remember we had the debate. He's going to want to go where he's going to get playing time. He's not getting playing time there,
and he should.
So I don't know.
Who the hell's better than him?
I don't know. I don't know. So
that's kind of my point. They're playing Hito Turkoglu. They're playing Jared Dudley, who hasn't done anything. I'd take Danny Granger over either of those guys.
Yeah. Well, must be something going on that we don't know.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
This series is gonna go. I mean,
this is probably a 6 or 7 game series.
Oh, I think. Without a doubt. I don't even think that's a question. Well, I mean, I didn't think that was a question before. Now, especially with the Clippers already took game 1. Yeah. I'm telling you, I still think the Thunder's gonna prove out.
Yeah,
Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, they're not gonna give you that much offensively. especially with Serge Ibaka on Blake. Because Blake, I mean, people are on Blake's nuts, but his offense is still limited. And Serge Ibaka is going to be able to guard him no problem. DeAndre Jordan doesn't do anything. So Kendrick Perkins is going to be able to be an easy backline of defense because he doesn't have to worry about guarding his guy. And, I mean, you talk about, the perimeter defense, but who's KD and Thabo really guarding? Thabo just stays on Redick to make sure he doesn't shoot it. Like, that's it. Then you have Westbrook on Chris Paul. It's probably the one matchup that gives, an edge to the Clippers. I think that they had a really nice game one, but I don't think they're going to win 4 games out of 7. I still got the Thunder.
All right, well, I'm going to pick the Clippers.
We'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
We're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
As much as I like, I love KD, I love Russ. Ugh, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me.
And the other side of the Western Conference, we have Spurs and Blazers. They play tonight.
Ugh. I don't know. The Blazers.
They look good in the first round.
Well, the Blazers are gonna. I think the Blazers are gonna give the Spurs fits in some areas.
Absolutely.
I want to know what Pop's answer is going to be for Aldridge. I think that's going to be.
See, Popovich is a better coach than Kevin McHale.
No, I understand that, but I just want to
better answers.
Who's going to guard him?
No, I think it's going to be a team thing. I think when you look at it, nobody's going to guard him 1-on-1.
Yeah, and
I think Pop's going to find a better answer. I have a lot of faith in Pop.
Yeah, and obviously Kawhi Leonard's going to have to defend Damian Lillard. I don't think you can let Tony Parker defend him. Try
in this fragile state.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think Kawhi Leonard.
If Parker wasn't injured, I'd be fine with it. But
I think Kawhi Leonard has to.
But they're saying they think Parker's hurt.
Yeah, so I think Kawhi Leonard has to guard Lillard.
I can see that.
And we'll have to see how that.
Patty Mills is getting some good minutes. They can try. I mean, you got to throw different looks at some of these.
No, I know, but I think like primarily it's going to be Leonard because he's long.
I can see that.
He should,
get in
his face a little bit. Maybe, hopefully, slow him down.
I think the big X factor in this series, and this is why I think the Spurs are going to win.
Well, I agree with that.
And it won't be easy, but I think they got it. I think it's going to be the fact that Popovich gets his bench going.
Yeah, and the Spurs and the Blazers don't have one.
Yeah. Besides Mo Williams, I'll give Mo Williams.
Mo Williams. I think you can get minutes out of Thomas Robinson. You can get minutes out of him. Thing is,
minutes out of him, and Papa's winning games with his starters not even playing.
No, I know. Well, yeah, I know, but
I mean, I'm just saying that there's.
I understand what you're saying, but Mo Williams, Thomas Robinson, you can get,
Mo Williams can battle with certain starters. That's why I think he's on a different plane than even Thomas Robinson.
Oh yeah.
I mean, past Mo Williams, there's a drop off on the Blazers roster. You name their 5 starters, you get to Mo Williams, and it drops. I mean, yeah, you can mention Thomas Robinson, but they've had other guys that have had good games, but nobody's consistent for them. Nobody consistently steps up on that Blazers roster for them. And I think that's going to be their downfall because when they turn to the bench...
Who else do they even play besides Mo Williams and Thomas Robinson? I'm trying to think. Who else played in the Houston series? I'm trying to think.
Nobody that's worth anything. I forget his name. I don't have the rosters in front of me. They have one other young kid that showed up a couple times. But, yeah, they have a very, very forgettable bench. And the Spurs, like I said, they're always going to get up. Pop's always going to have them playing well. And that's what's going to make them dangerous. And, even if the Blazers, if their starters beat the Spurs starters by, 5 or 10 points, because I don't think they'll kill them, I think the Spurs bench will kill them. I bet you the disparity in bench scoring between these two teams is going to be incredible. Manu Ginobili alone is going to outscore the entire Blazers bench. And then you have everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, Marco Bellinelli is going to score as much as the Blazers bench. And that's just 2 guys. Patty Mills helps, and then like I said, I'm just naming 2 or 3 guys that I think the disparity of the bench is going to be too much. And, Lillard's going to have his moments. I think LA's going to, give them a lot of problems. But I think in the end, I'd say Spurs in 6.
Yeah, I kind of see it going that way too.
They have a couple games. You know, their bench guys, they've had their moments. I can see like 2 games, maybe the bench gives them just enough, and LA's, you know, causing too many problems. Maybe Lillard hits another game winner because he seems to be really good at that. I can see that happening twice, but I got Spurs in 6. I got Spurs and Thunder. You got Spurs Clippers. So now it's time to move over to the East. Move back to the East. Of course, last night we got to see Game 1 of the Wizards-Pacers. And the Wizards, I mean, the Pacers should just hang up the final score because it looks better than that game did. I mean, the Wizards, they were very impressive. And the Pacers were not. I mean, the Pacers haven't been that impressive. Their Game 7 was actually pretty good. Their Game 7 in the first round. Even their other 3 wins weren't, like, didn't really blow you away. Their games, the way they played in Game 7 was awesome. Like I saw that one game and I was like, okay, this is the Pacers that they need to be.
So who are you picking?
I think we're going to see similar to the first round. I think the way Atlanta gave them a scare. But I want to say the Pacers are going to edge it out.
Well,
I think it's going 7.
Well, I'm going to pick the Wizards just because the Wizards are better than the Hawks are. They're better.
They are. Which is why I would not be surprised to see the Wizards win.
Yeah,
this is why I told you I really wish Chicago won one more game so Toronto would, because I think Toronto would have beaten Washington, then they could beat Indiana. You would have seen Toronto in the conference finals.
So I'm gonna pick the Wizards. I'm gonna say 6 games.
6.
Wizards in 6. Probably won't happen, but that's just me.
I'm going Pacers in 7.
Fine.
Now, of course, the other matchup, Miami Brooklyn. Of course, everybody keeps talking about the 4-0 regular season series sweep by the Nets.
That's good.
I just don't see that translating into a 7-game playoff series.
And the same way the Heat Knicks, the Knicks 4-0 against the Heat.
No, it was 3-1.
3-0. I'm sorry, 3-1. They
lost one.
And then they blow them out.
Yeah, the first 2.
Yeah.
Then the Heat won the 3rd one. Then they won the last one.
So,
I got Heat in 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go that way too.
I mean, Kevin Garnett's not playing tons of minutes. And in the first series, you know, Joe Johnson played well, but I think that they're gonna have a harder time getting Joe Johnson off when LeBron James is guarding him. I mean, Toronto's best answers for Joe Johnson were Landry Fields and John Salmons. And while neither of them are slouches on the defensive end, neither of them are LeBron James. And I think that Joe Johnson's going to be taken right out of the game in that aspect. You know, LeBron and Shane Battier, I think they're just better. They're better defensively to stop Joe Johnson. The only X factor for the Nets really is going to be Darren Williams. I mean, we saw in the first round, if Darren Williams is awesome, so are the Nets. And if Darren Williams is struggling, so are the Nets. But I think without Joe Johnson, it's going to be a lot easier to key in. So I think they're going to be able to eliminate Joe Johnson easily, the way that their defense is. You know, and Mario Chalmers, he's not a terrible defender, but he's going to have help.
Yeah, and if he's struggling, it's going to make it even easier for him too.
Yeah. So I don't see that being a factor. And KG's, with him only playing 20 minutes, I mean, you know, the Miles Plumlee and Andre Blatch, nobody is a threat size, you know, like a size threat to Chris Bosh. So Chris Bosh is easily the best big man in this series. You know, then Dwayne Wade, you know, his biggest question is health. Yeah. He's been sitting home since last Monday.
I know. That's another reason why I think the Heat have the edge in this, because they did someone that did 8 days off.
Yeah.
So they've been able to rest up and get ready. So
yeah.
I think that definitely gives them the edge. But
and the Nets were beat up in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, they played a tough series. I mean, the Heat been home for over a week, while the Nets have been battling for their life.
Yeah.
I got to go Heat. So we both. Well, I got Heat Pacers. You going with Heat Wizards.
Yeah.
So right now, who do you think? I mean, you think it's going to be Heat Wizards, and you think it's going to be Spurs Clippers. Who do you have in the finals right now? As it looks right now.
I think we're gonna get a rematch of last year.
Heat Spurs.
I think we get Heat Spurs again. That's what I think. Oh man, this is tough. This is a tough one for me, but
I think we're getting a rematch of 2012.
Heat Thunder.
Yeah.
So I can see that too. I mean, I don't know. I'm actually upset at myself. I picked the Clippers to win, and I hate Blake Griffin so much. Like, I just hate. Just ugh. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe just to be different. I don't know. Can I change my mind? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, at the start of the season, I said, I thought, I mean, it should be Heat Thunder, but I don't know. It's just the Thunder. They just, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. The way they just got blown out last night. It's just I don't think I've ever seen them lose that bad at home.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know.
And I don't think it's going to be done again.
Oh, I hope not. But I mean, they can still lose at home. They can
But
still
not like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just.
That's what I mean. They're not going to get blown out at home like that again.
Their offense just worries me. It's very stagnant. Like last night, it's just very stagnant to me. And they got to figure out a way to get those other guys involved and keep them involved, because they're gonna. A lot of the games that they're gonna lose. I mean, they can lose close games down the stretch.
See, the problem with the Thunder, man, too, is if they beat the Clippers, then they have the Spurs waiting for them. I mean, they have a lot of They have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like I just think that, like, I mean, I'm not using the Rockets to compare, but how he said that, like, the Rockets' offense, it becomes very predictable. Well, the Thunder's offense comes pretty predictable too.
Yeah, but it's different in a sense that, I mean,
but
you have, but
my whole thing
the only
is
problem is that Dwight Howard can't really do anything offensively, and then James Harden is going to do one of two things. He's either going to pull up and shoot, or he's going to try to get all the way to the rim and get. I think that's all he does.
But
that could be comparable to like Westbrook.
Yeah.
But
Durant
the thing
too,
is,
though.
Durant is a lot more dynamic.
Yeah, but a lot of it is he's going to pull up and shoot, or he's going to try to get to the rim.
Yeah, but it goes in.
Not all the
Dwight
time.
Howard doesn't go in.
No, not all the time.
Durant is a lot more efficient.
No, well, yeah, obviously.
And from farther away.
Yeah. I don't know. It just becomes very. I don't know. I think
Durant has a lot of.
And we're talking about Doc Rivers here, who I think. I don't know. I just think that.
I didn't think it's gonna be easy.
Later, I just think we get into these later rounds, they're gonna run into trouble, whether it's Doc or Coach Pop, they're gonna figure out a way.
Coach Spo, possibly.
Yeah, and Spo.
I think Spo's another underrated coach.
Oh yeah. I just think that they're gonna be able to. I don't know. Just the way they looked last night just worried me. Like offense, I was even like the fact that I mean I know that
too much into one game.
No, I know, but I know Chris Paul's not going to make 8 threes, but like just watching them offensively, just kind of it was just like, is this really happening? And even watch in some of the games against Memphis too, they didn't look all that great.
Well, Memphis is a lot better defensively.
And I was just like, what? I was like, what is happening right now? But I don't know what happened.
Still got the faith.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I like Durant, I like Russ. I am not a Serge Ibaka fan. He still does nothing for me. I've yet to see a game where he's actually done something for me on the court. That's made me go, oh, he just doesn't do anything for me. I can't.
He is a solid player, though.
Yeah.
The number one thing is he's there for defense, and he shows up every night on the defensive end. I mean, there's nights that he scores more, but for the most part, you're getting 10 to 14 points out of him.
But you think about him is, for some reason, and Blake's good at this. The one thing and as much as I can't stand him, I will give Blake credit because he gets in that boy's head like it's nobody's business. And if someone doesn't slap him in the face and be like, "You're buying into it," he's gonna foul out every game. Did you see? You gotta watch it. He drew so many stupid fouls against Ibaka. Just by doing Blake shit, and
but it's easy to get into Blake's head too.
Yeah, but Blake's not a hothead. Blake just likes to cry about it, which is different. Ibaka gets mad. like one of the texts I lost my mind about last night. They kind of both fell down, and Blake fell, and he kind of like hooked his legs. So Ibaka, being the high head he is, he like kicked his leg away. So of course Blake lays on the court, and he throws his leg back. Like he made it seem like Ibaka like kicked his leg so hard, he throws his leg back, he falls, and he got technical. It's like stuff like that. He's got to stay out of that because they need him on the court.
Well, the refs often need to not buy into Blake Griffin's bullshit.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately, the refs bought into it. It's paid for. There's a receipt. It's stamped. They buy it because it works all the time. I mean,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he's got to know that he's going to get those stupid ass calls and just stay out of it. Someone's got to be like, look, man, just let him do whatever he's going to do. Just stay out of it. Remember early in the season, Blake got him mad. He got kicked out of the game. Didn't he punch him in the nuts like during the season? Ibaka. I mean, he gets in his brain, and when he's not on the court, the Thunder are pretty thin. We talk about teams with like not having much of a bench. They're pretty thin as it is, especially up front. They need him
more up front than anything.
They need him on the court, so he can't. He has to stay out of that. He cannot afford to go. Because Blake is the guy. Like I said, he's a head case too, but he'll just cry about it after the game. He's not gonna retaliate. He's not gonna swing at you.
I still think you're overrating this one game. I still got the Thunder. I think you put too much into that.
I know, but I'm just saying. No,
everybody has a bad game.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking based on the history between Blake and Ibaka. I'm not even talking about this game. This has been going on all season.
That's not going to be the game changer. If you take
Yeah, but he needs to be on the court. He needs to be on the court. Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying he needs to stay out of that.
Blake's got to stay on the court too. Blake's never gotten himself in trouble with just taking him off the court.
Well, it's actually sad because if Ibaka had a post game, he could probably get Blake in foul trouble and get him
Blake
off
puts
the court.
himself in foul trouble.
Well, that's because but like all Ibaka's really going to do is shoot jump shots. I mean, if he's done well, that's because
Ibaka's going to be crashing the boards.
Well, that's because Blake is in that stage. He's in that Dwight Howard stage when he used to think he'd get every rebound and he would jump and like land on somebody's head and argue the call. But I don't know. I mean,
I don't even think Blake Griffin's that much better than Serge Ibaka.
No, I don't think so either. But at doing all that little shit that just drives people crazy.
I think you're putting too much into it.
I don't think I'm putting too much into it at all. I watched the game. I'm not even talking about just to score the game.
No, I know.
I'm just talking about all season what Blake Griffin does.
I think you put too much into it.
And I don't think
it's going to factor the series that much. You think it's going to change the series.
If Ibaka's out on the court,
but I don't think it'll get to that.
Okay, well we'll see. Right, we'll have to see because
that's what I'm saying. I
forget what someone was talking about on the radio. I think it was Rosillo. He said he goes. They gotta just tell Ibaka to just walk away, and he said he's a hothead, and did you see the shirt he was wearing last night? Maybe that's why he was in a bad mood. We'll have to talk about that too. Oh my God, did you see that shirt?
Well, I mean, this is the NBA today. You look at everybody's shirt.
Yeah, but did you see his shirt?
I mean, you told me that after I told you that Russell Westbrook should watch Chris Paul's game to learn how to not only guard him but how to play himself. You said and how to dress. And did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah, he looked like a fool too.
Yeah,
but did you see?
They looked like idiots up there together.
Ibaka. Oh wait, did you
they
see
all
the shirt?
dress like idiots.
Yeah, but did you see his shirt though?
They all did.
Oh my God!
I'm not willing to kill one person. They all look like idiots.
I know, but for some, I don't know. Maybe that's why he was having a bad day.
I'm just saying. Look at Westbrook, Ibaka, Paul, Griffin. They all look like idiots.
I don't understand. Who was the? Was it LeBron? He had like the Sergeant Slaughter Army camo on. I was like, what? Was it Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe? So what's going on here?
They all look like fools.
The NBA's got to do something about that. They have to like, please stop embarrassing our product walking into the arena.
Embarrassing yourselves.
Yeah, but
why would you want to embarrass yourself?
Yeah, but they're making the NBA look bad too because for whatever reason, they put these idiots on TV. That's like I wouldn't even make these guys go to the podium after the game. Like you would come out like last night, like during Chris Paul and Blake. Chris Paul and Blake would have gone to go out to the podium, and I would have been like,
the media still has to talk to them.
No, we're not doing it. You go put your warm up on or something. You can't go out like that.
Well, fortunately, that's not part of the dress code. Isn't normal.
No, I know.
wear
and,
nice clothes.
and somewhere Allen Iverson's like, yeah, and they killed the way I dress.
So moving on.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That was one of my rants. That was one of my rants.
Really quick, we have.
Can I change my mind?
What, you want to go with the Thunder now?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Thunder now. I think I'm gonna go with the Thunder. I just hate Blake that much. But Serge, stay away. Walk away, dog. Walk away. Just walk away. Don't get into it.
So we have a couple of coaching. There's not really a lot to talk about. We have some coaching news. The first one, of course, to break was the Knicks firing Woodson and his entire staff. I forgot who it was that said the Knicks are cleaning house when they fire Herb Williams.
I know he's been there. I know he's been there for.
You remember?
Yeah, I forget who said it, but yeah, it's true. I mean, he's been there throughout everything.
Yeah. So
Poor
the
guy.
Knicks clean house. Of course, the number one rumor is Steve Kerr. We don't know if that's true or not. Well, if it's true, he's definitely going to go there. I mean, he seems to be the number one candidate. I know he met with Phil Jackson.
Yeah. So all right.
I think Steve Kerr, from what I read, is also waiting to see what other jobs open up. So,
wouldn't you?
Well, I'm reporting the news.
And then
I'm not saying it's a bad decision.
And the other one was
the next one was D'Antoni.
Resigned.
Well, it was interesting because first
I'm not sure. I mean, okay, what are you gonna say?
Well,
I'll let you go.
I do think it's true because I know what you're gonna say. Because first they announced that they were not going to be firing him. They said Mike D'Antoni is our coach for next year. The reason why he resigned is because they wouldn't pick up the final option for the year after. And I guess that went to his resignation. I think the reason behind it was, I think the Lakers keep looking at that 2015 free agency, and they're going, well, who wants to coach a down year that we have, that's going to stick around, I think they wanted to wait until 2015 to make the splash, sign a superstar, bring in the big coach, and I don't think D'Antoni wanted to be the lame duck coach. I think he said, so basically you're going to use me for another year until you get the guy that you want with the team you want. Then I'm going to look like an asshole. Because that's pretty much what he looks like right now. Because when you think about it, no coach could have gotten any more out of that team than Mike D'Antoni did.
No.
And if he had another year like that, which they're possibly going to have, where they don't play well, they have a terrible record, then all of a sudden they bring in a new coach with new players, and all of a sudden they're in the playoffs in the mix, depending on who they bring in and stuff. Especially, can you imagine they go from bums to title contenders, and Mike D'Antoni is one of the big changes? He'll look like an asshole. Yeah, and totally, I don't think you want to be a part of that.
Yeah. So
I don't blame him.
Yeah, so he's out.
I mean, God only knows who they're going to bring in. I've seen like 1,000 names. They're going after Calipari and Ali.
Leave the college guys alone, please. Roy Williams is not leaving North Carolina.
I didn't hear that one.
That's the newest one. Roy Williams.
I heard Ali in UConn. I heard Calipari in Kentucky.
Yeah, I heard Kevin Ali doesn't even want to coach in the NBA.
They said there was actually rumors that the Thunder were thinking about Cannon and Scott Brooks to go after Kevin Ali too.
Yeah, because I think that's the last roster he was officially on, right?
And Kevin Durant's a big fan.
So, but anyway, leave the college.
But they were gonna. There's rumors that they want to talk to Thibodeau, but they need the Bulls' permission.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
Why would the Bulls do that?
I'm sure the Bulls said, "Can I swear on the show?"
Yeah,
I'm sure the Bulls. I'm sure the Bulls were like, "Go fuck yourselves." They're not even in the phone.
Like,
the phone. How long ago?
Like if you're the Bulls, you're saying no.
How long ago did that rumor come out?
I don't know,
like 2 weeks. Ago, yeah, the phone's still ringing from the first phone call. It's just ringing.
Because if I'm the Bulls, I'm saying now you go fuck yourself. But I'm saying like only we're talking like if think about it though. Because if you're the Bulls, I mean, who else do you want to coach that team besides Thibs?
No, nobody.
If you're the Bulls, you should be trying to re-sign him and extend his deal and not let him talk to anybody else. And if you think about it, I mean, if you're Coach Thibs, let's just say the Bulls allowed that. I would no longer feel safe in my job, and I'd want to leave.
They're not going to allow that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we shouldn't even be talking about this.
Like
the phone's still.
Well, I'm just saying that there's all these
like bus call.
I saw a list of
bus called over
Byron Scott and George Karl. I think Jeff Van Gundy was on the list, and I don't think he's leaving the announcement.
What is he doing now?
I don't know. Probably watching the playoffs.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy he hasn't gotten another job.
There's so many options to me. We can't even. It's so hard to speculate. The only name I did like the George Karl mention.
Yeah, and then the last one, of course, which is to me makes zero sense. But the Golden State Warriors, right before the show. This is exclusive stuff right here. The Golden State Warriors have fired Mark Jackson, and I don't understand this one. I don't get it.
I don't like it because how much better did you think they were going to be?
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, if you look at them,
but I guess he had. Well, remember he had a blow with management though. They were, you know, like I forget. Someone said it today. It was when I was on my way here that they were just looking for they were just looking for a reason to get rid of him.
I look at it and I'm thinking, you know, they were the 6th seed. They won over 50 games again, and it's like, if Iguodala wasn't hurt, remember he missed a good stretch, they would be even better. They could have gotten the 4th seed, you know, which is about where you expect them to be in the 4 to 6 range. They took the Clippers to the brink. I don't think anybody who isn't a Warriors fan thought they were going to win that series. I think the only thing that gave them an edge was the situation that we're going to be talking about shortly.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that, I don't think they would have even been in the series as much. But Mark Jackson got a lot out of this team, plus missing Bogut.
Yeah. And Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson adore that guy as their coach. Mm-hmm. So I want to know what this does to Steph Curry's psyche going forward, because they were really close.
And who are they going to bring in?
And that's why I don't understand somebody these. I mean, I don't. You know, but I guess like I said, he had a blow up with management, and they were just looking for a reason to fire him.
And this hasn't been out long enough to know who's going to replace him, but I'm really kind of curious about that.
No, I'm sure they'll.
So I'm curious to start seeing the names that float around, who they start meeting with, and of course the final decision.
Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah. Actually,
that's why you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna laugh.
He's a Steph Curry fan, because remember when he.
But you think about it: ball in the hand of the point guard, scoring point guard. You know, who scores and pass. You got shooters.
Well, there's a shooter. There's one.
Well, you can still add more. No, they got 2.
Who's the other one?
Jordan Crawford comes off the bench.
Oh, yeah, well.
And Steve Blake's a good shooter.
Yeah.
Steve Blake actually played really well in the D'Antoni system.
I'm talking in the starting 5, because obviously...
I mean, you got to look at the bench, too.
No, I know, but...
I'm just saying, Steve Blake played awesome in his system.
No, you're right.
And Steve Blake's there. Yeah. You have Jordan Crawford coming off the bench. You know, in the starting lineup, you have 2 shooters. You have Curry and Klay.
Yeah.
Iguodala's not terrible.
David Lee he wasn't bad for D'Antoni either.
No, he played really well for D'Antoni. I mean, he's kind of a mid-ranger. Yeah. But he doesn't play in the post even that much, which he hates. Yeah, he hates when the 4s play in the post. That's Pau Gasol. And Bogut's not a post player either. He can finish around the rim.
He's before he started having his injury problems.
He's not killing anybody.
But he used to score. No, he used to shoot threes. I mean, Andrew Bogut,
But I'm just saying, he's not trying to kill people on the block. And D'Antoni hates that. Yeah. He's not into that. Mm-hmm. And he likes the big guy. Bogut's not a terrible passer either.
No, he's not.
He can play, because D'Antoni, how he loves that play, almost like Joakim Noah's been doing, where he plays, the big man in the high post. Joakim Noah does it. Marcus Hall's been doing it. But he loves doing that, where you put the big man in the high post and almost operate the offense through him as a passer. And then you have Curry and Klay who can shoot. I mean, Iguodala on certain nights can shoot. I mean,
there has to be something to think about. Now, for our feature presentation,
the topic everybody's been talking about,
Donald Sterling, and we're actually not making. This is on a serious note too, because we've killed him in the past,
we've
jokingly.
Always made fun of him.
But this is actually
remember we gave him the high five award last year.
Well, he might have to get it again, back to back.
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually thinking about the high five award, and I just want to say because we gave it to him, because he earned it, and
he really earned it.
Remember a couple of months ago, I forgot what episode it was, where you were like, "Can we just give it to the Knicks now?" And, I said, let's slow down. Yeah. I said, there's still some other people out there that might be vying for it.
Yeah, well, he
so I think you might have jumped the gun.
Yeah, well, he earned it. But, he really, truly earned it this time.
Wow.
I don't even know how to start. Where do you want to start? How do we even start with this?
I mean, where do you start? I mean, let's start at the beginning. I mean, first, let's talk about his history before we can talk about the recent thing.
We really need to. I'm sure everybody here knows Donald Sterling's history.
We know about the slumlord thing, the Elgin Baylor thing. What's funny? My favorite part about the Elgin Baylor part that they're not even mentioning in the news. Remember when they first hired him, and he was like, who's Elgin Baylor? He didn't even know who he was. Yeah. And this guy owns an NBA team and makes basketball decisions.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't even know who Elgin Baylor was. I mean, we're born in the mid early 80s. We know who Elgin Baylor is. This guy's 80 years old. How do you not know who Elgin Baylor is?
Just ignorance.
I mean, Well, that's a perfect word to describe Donald Sterling. I mean,
yeah. So we go there.
So we go.
So we go to
we had that.
president.
But then we always kill him just for basketball decisions. Not even just him as a person, just him making basketball decisions. We've killed him tons of times. You know, both in private conversations and then ever since we've started this show. And then of course, the present situation. First, like, did you listen to the recording?
No, no.
Well, the funny part, as far as like the legality of the situation, before we get into everything, is you can tell, like I'm pretty positive that she was trying to get him to say those stuff. Like she was like egging him in it. Like she was like, wait, so what about this and that? And like she kept going. And the funny thing is, because I read somewhere, had he never mentioned the NBA arena, because you remember he said, don't bring black people to my games. Had he never said that, the NBA couldn't have touched it.
Yeah, he would have been.
Because it would have never been about the NBA. But it was funny because she kept going, and that was towards the end of an almost 15-minute conversation. And that's when it ended. Like, that's like one of the last, like, if you, like, it's like 14 and change, go to minute 13, you'll hear all the things that got him in trouble. Like, because at first all you kept talking about was Instagram, which, by the way, we have a really nice Instagram picture up now. That was a tribute to Donald Sterling.
Yeah.
But, like, she just kept going and, like, egging him, and it was like, you could tell, like, she was going for it. And it's like, of course, it's not legal to tape a conversation anyway. Yeah. And then she goes and leaks it to TMZ. Of course, that wasn't an accident.
No.
But at the same time, for what he said, it's, how do you feel bad for him at the same time, Because he's obviously an idiot. Like, he's always been an idiot. Like, see, I feel bad for somebody if it was, like, a good person.
Yeah.
And, maybe it got twisted.
Yeah. Or he just having a bad day.
Yeah.
He's just mad.
Like, maybe you came home.
Yeah.
Like,
something,
And you're like, fuck black people.
Yeah.
Like, all the black people I saw today sucked. You know what I mean? Then it gets twisted and stuff. Then it's like, okay, I can feel bad for you because you're not really like that. But it's like, he's been like this.
Yeah,
so it shouldn't really shock anybody.
No, not at all. And I think somebody said it the best, he's done a lot. He's been doing terrible things to people for a really long time, and he's gotten away with it. And you know what they say about payback?
Yeah, it's a bitch.
So.
And he got it from a bitch.
Yeah.
He so ain't loyal. You learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I could.
But then it's like, the other funny, I don't know if you saw it, I wrote this on Facebook. I said, they say the good die young, and that's how Donald Sterling's still alive with prostate cancer.
Yeah, it was 81?
80, I thought. 80 flat.
Oh, okay. I thought someone was...
Maybe 81.
It doesn't really matter.
Still old.
Yeah. So...
I mean, he's obviously from a different time, and he hasn't grown. I think the other sad part is now that everything's coming out, and they talk about, like, the way that he runs his organization. They say that he runs it similar to, like, the old, plantations back in the 1700s. Like, how the fuck are you, like...
Well,
like, how does somebody get away with this for so long? I think that's the incredible part. And the fact that black people keep working for him. Like,
well, he does pay. I mean, let's, ask Baron Davis if he pays.
I don't know. It's weird to me.
And it was funny because I remember, like, when this whole thing first started, everyone was like, "Oh, who said it that they should just allow the Clippers players to become free agents?" It's like you don't think but my whole argument was like, you don't think anyone's gonna want to go play there?
Yeah.
Like,
somebody will go.
Yeah,
they'll get killed, by the media, but they'll go.
They're gonna go because
they'll still get paid.
They're gonna get paid, and
you think about it. There's 450 roster spots in the NBA. If you take away the Clippers, there's 435 now. If you're number 436 and you're looking for a payday,
you would go
because they have to spend a certain amount.
Yeah, and it's LA. It's not like it's not like you're going to like Minnesota. Milwaukee.
I like that those are the two that
no offense, but I mean, so
the other funny part that I thought was funny. Well, first I want to say on a comical thing, I don't remember the rest of anything he said because I was dying laughing the way he opened it up. But did you see the JJ Redick when they asked him?
Yes, I did see that.
He opened it up with, "Well, I don't have any experience being black." When he started that, I started crying because I was like, "Me neither." But it was just so funny, like how he opened up with that.
Well, he doesn't. Well, how do you? I mean, what do you? I mean,
apparently, from what I've read, though, he was as mad, if not madder, than some of the other players on the team. Which, obviously, being in that business, I'm sure, he's probably grown close. I mean, obviously, you're one of my close friends. That's what made me angry about it. I mean, you know who my close friends are. So when you put in that situation, it just, of course, it can anger you, even though it's not directed towards you. Yeah. I also read something. I don't know if you saw that article that. Apparently, Donald Sterling didn't want to pay J.J. Redick because he's white.
Yes, I did see that. So he's just completely fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a fucked up person.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
what was his explanation? How do you say it? I don't want to pay a white guy to shoot. What wasn't it something stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
So, well, here's the tough part, and I just, this is the hard part is like the legalities of it. Like I said, obviously the tape.
He's going to sue her for. He's going to sue.
And he should.
Yeah, he's going to.
I'm not saying I feel bad for him, but I mean, if I was in his position, I would too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, somebody just wronged me, and he's going to lose a lot of money possibly, because of this.
Well,
he's already lost $2.5 million.
Yeah, and then they, I think of it, they're going to make him sell the team.
Yeah, but if he doesn't get market value, that's more money he lost.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Like, what if they say market value is $1.1 billion? And he can only sell it for $750 million. Yeah. That's $3.5 million.
That's a lot of
or $350 million. Yeah. Plus the 2.5, so that'd be $352.5 million that he costed him. I mean.
Yeah.
So you can't blame him for suing her.
No. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Well, and then moving forward on the legalities of it it's like I felt like and this is where the forcing the sale thing is going to be so hard for the NBA because he, although he's an idiot, which we've already known, he didn't do anything illegal.
No.
It's not illegal to have an opinion,
no.
And it's not illegal to voice it. It's especially not illegal to voice it in your own home. It wasn't like he was out in public at a coffee shop saying, fuck black people, and like he was in his own home saying, don't put pictures of black people on your Instagram. Don't bring black people to my game. And he's in his own home having a conversation with with his mistress or girlfriend or whatever the hell she was, because now she denies being the girlfriend.
Of course.
And it's like there's nothing illegal about it. I mean, we disagree. I mean, we both disagree. I'm sure most people in today's society would disagree with what he said. Yeah. But I hope most people would disagree. But it doesn't make it illegal. Just because there's a difference between wrong and illegal. What he did was wrong, but it was not illegal. And it's like the only reason why the NBA even got to put anything on him was, like I said, he said, keep black people out of my arena. So they got to hit him with that fine and the lifetime ban. And now they're in the process of appointing a CEO to be in charge of all decision making. But to force a sale is such a tough spot because where do you draw the line? Like I saw somebody use this as an example, and it's a perfect example. If you think today, like the battle of gay marriage. I mean, you think about it. Blacks getting married was a thing. Now we look at it and it's ridiculous that was ever a thing. But now gay marriage is on that. You know what I mean? So if 10, 20 years from now, an owner comes out, in a conversation says, "Well, I'm against gay marriage."
Well,
but it's a more widely accepted opinion. Does that?
Well, I think if anything, I think these owners are gonna really. I mean, if the owners don't learn anything from this, they're really gonna have to watch what they say, who they say it around, when they say it.
I even saw somebody talking about the vote to force the sale. Mm-hmm. They said there might be owners that vote against it.
Yeah, I know.
Because of the slope that it now creates.
I know. Thing is like, I forget who said it, but somebody said that there's probably many other owners who feel the same way he does. They're just not stupid like he is, and they don't talk about it.
There could be.
So,
it's very possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
But it's like you have to think about it, like especially like if you're.
If
you're a vocal owner like Mark Cuban.
Yeah, but
Mark Cuban was one of the first ones to talk about the slippery slope. Is he going to vote against it because he doesn't want to be scrutinized for every little thing he says? You know what I mean? It's not even like a vote for some of these owners. It's not going to be a vote for themselves. Or a vote about Donald Sterling. It's a vote for themselves. You have to think about it. By voting to take Donald Sterling out, you're putting yourself on the hot seat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we'll have to. I mean, what they say, they were gonna get together like what, sometime this month, and yeah. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes.
It's a very, very delicate situation. You know, because at the same time, it's like society wants to see something happen. You know, because obviously we don't, as a society, I think as a whole, for the most part, people don't agree with what he said, and they want to see something done. Yeah, obviously, with most of his employees being black, they don't want to work for a guy like that. You know what I mean? Like you said, people will still go there, so it's not, you know. But the free agent thing, I don't think can happen for the same reason. It's like, where do you draw the line? Like, think of that if an owner says something about gays, you know, in 5 years, and he has, you know, 2 or 3 gay people on his team, you know, then it's like, are they allowed to become free agents? Yeah. Well, what about the straight guy who thinks that he's wrong? You know, should he become a free agent too? Like, you know, it's like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah. I know. Well, we'll have to see. How man, poor Adam Silver, huh?
Yeah.
This is what he gets to do.
This is like one of his first big things.
It was the first big thing.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, this is what he gets to deal with his first go around.
This is a defining moment for Adam Silver. I was thinking about this, you know, like you think back, you know.
Well, I mean,
you know, David Stern just recently retired, you know, and you know they talked about all the different things that he did to change, you know, the NBA, the sport of basketball, and all this stuff. When Adam Silver decides to retire and pass the reins down, you know, to the next guy, they're going to be looking back at this moment. They're going to go, oh, well, you remember the whole time, you know, the whole racism thing with Donald Sterling. You know, if he retires 30 years from now, they're going to be looking back. Hey, you remember in 2014, in the middle of the playoffs, the Donald Sterling situation. I mean, this is a defining moment in Adam Silver's, you know, career. And I do not envy his position. I would not want to be in his shoes right now. Because no matter what he does, it's wrong, I feel like. Because it's like,
well, I mean, you know,
if you let Donald Sterling stay the owner, you know, you're allowing somebody to be racist in that type of, with that type of power.
Now, do you think a lifetime ban without trying to make him sell the team would have been okay?
I think that's probably the safest way to go.
Yeah, well, we'll see what
because it's the selling the team part is where you get.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. That's all.
Because I think the lifetime ban is his way of condemning those opinions and those thoughts. But I think forcing the sale is where you get into all the gray area.
All right, well, we'll have to see how it plays out. And
he looked fucking pissed during that conference. Did you see it?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I gotta deal with this.
No, he looked mad.
I gotta deal with this right now. Playoffs are starting.
He has to deal with this bullshit.
Best first round ever, and I have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Fuck you, David.
Donald.
No.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
Passing.
You're gonna say for one more year.
Deal with this bullshit.
Because David Stern, he probably would have did the same thing.
Yeah. How do you think David Stern is thinking right now? That'd be interesting. I wonder what his opinion is. He hasn't said anything.
No, he's not quiet. He's not going to. He probably
he'd be smart not to.
He's an ex. He's been dealing with the guy for years. I mean, he knows how much of an asshole he is.
If David Stern gets questioned, like caught somewhere in question, the smartest thing he can say is, "I back everything that Adam Silver has done and said."
He's probably
That's probably what he would say too, because he's that type of guy.
Yeah, he's a mellow. He's like a mellow guy too.
Yeah.
So
unless it's your boy Jim Rome.
Yeah, but
stop beating your wife.
But he even asked him that question. Mellow though. If you listen to what he asked him.
No, I know.
So yeah, he's it'll be interesting. But yeah, so we'll have to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said, it's a sensitive situation because it's like there's things that you want to see done, but it's like you kind of have to look at the rules and the laws of, like I said, I don't envy his position. I'm glad I'm not in issues.
Yeah, well, he's. I don't know. I mean, it's funny. The commissioner. I mean, he works for the owners, so.
Well, he also does work for the players.
Yeah, I know, but he.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's. That's like the one thing I've learned about like how like throughout obviously like we've had the a couple years ago we had the NBA CBA and a couple we had hockey like I the one thing I did learn is that the commissioner is like the owner's guy, like he's there, like
he works for the players, but I get what you're saying.
He works for them. They pay a salary, like see, I didn't know. I mean, so I guess if there's one good thing to come out of these lockouts, you do learn how a lot of this stuff works. So, it's, so, yeah. I'm sure Adam Silver had a lot of other things to on his agenda to make the game better, but those got back burner for a little while thanks to this guy.
Now would be a good time for Adam Silver to be driving around in J.R. Smith's truck.
Oh man,
Took to the end of the show, but I thought about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know. That's it. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we touched on everything. First round, second round, coaches, and Donald fucking Sterling.
BS text.
Yeah. So, that wraps up this episode of talking about, we've covered a lot. Hopefully next episode, because I know this one had to be long. We had a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too much bullshit happens, and and we can just discuss the second round and the conference finals. In our next episode, of course, we'll be back. Once that starts getting situated. So, for the White Snoop T-Rose, the White Snoop and T-Rose Show, enjoy the
This is the White Snoop presented by the White Snoop and T-Rose Show.
Watch more videos like old episodes on YouTube and subscribe to youtube.com/WhiteSnoop44. Follow and tweet us at 44entertainment, at WhiteSnoop44, at T-Rose_28. Use the hashtag Snoop Show. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/WhiteSnoop244, facebook.com/TheWhiteSnoop44. Email us at WhiteSnoopProductions@gmail.com.